Welcome everybody to another episode of the Wealth and Wellness Report. Really excited today. Have an amazing guest. His name's Bryan Yung with the eXp Realty Group in SoCal. My brother in arms, in brokerage, and building wealth together. Bryan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing incredible, bro. This is so cool.
I'm so excited that you're here and that we get a chance to sit down and talk because it's just been a long time coming. You and me working together and building our business and learning so much along the way, man.
Yes.
So I appreciate you being here, man.
Dude, I'm grateful to be here. Thank you for welcoming me in your home and getting to we were talking about time warping, seeing how much you've accomplished, in your life and in this life together. So it's cool to see it all in 3D.
Yeah, man. You've brought me into the real estate game. Because of you, I had taken it upon myself. This is it. I want to do this. So I want to talk about the origin story though first. Let's
go.
We met. I don't know. I don't remember the year. You'll have to remind me. It was back in 2008. Was it 2008 or 9? I don't think Ben was born yet.
Yeah.
And Ben's going to be 16 this year. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was probably, oh wait, sounds about right.
I want to say 08 because I was still in Burlingame and I was still working at the store, and Ben wasn't born quite yet. He was born in 09. And I had already taken this permaculture design cert course that that's where I met Nicholas. Mm-hmm. And so Nicholas and I, or it was Nicholas and Chris Lopez, who was in that group with us, decided to take this watershed restoration course at Quail Springs Permaculture in the Kiama Valley in SoCal. Yep. And it was like a week-long retreat or something like that.
Yep.
And so I remember jumping in the truck with the guys, driving however long, 8 hours down to the place, which was in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Like a valley, dirt roads, kind of, and then a little oasis.
Yeah. And it was such a weird experience driving into that place because as you got off the main road, there was what looked like straight up desert, man, beach, sanded beachfront with no ocean. And come to learn that was growing grounds for CalChoice, one of the very, very big agricultural producers of carrots in the state.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that they were growing carrots in the middle of freaking nowhere and in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
Because through that course, learned that these carrots were able to stay super straight and super long and super uniform because of this sandy loam soil that was over irrigated in the desert. Actually, super interesting.
Dude, you just brought me back because I remember driving through there. You could see kind of this stark contrast of passing by these monoculture farms.
Yeah.
And then pulling into Quail Springs and you're like, whoa, what is all this going on? All these layers and just so much diversity.
Yeah.
And I remember driving through the farms and it was just just
monoculture. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was so weird because they were organic farms. And you would think organic would have some organics, other plants, but it was just completely desertified. It was really kind of a weird introduction to where we were going.
Yeah.
We get into Quail Springs and we get into the curriculum, which was a really, really, for me, super interesting topic. The idea of restoring watersheds. So we were spending time in the class, and then we were spending time in the field studying these incised channels, these really ancient riparian corridors with massive cottonwoods, and learning about how, fluvial geomorphology affected the landscape over millennia. And bank load transfers and like how water moves in a riparian corridor and all of the mechanics and dynamics that are involved. And it was like super fun and interesting course for me.
Yeah.
Like I was extremely engaged. And then we hit it off. I think we met in class or something. And I just remember you being super kind and empathetic, compassionate, like really great personality, very easy to talk to. You could probably agree, like, you know, sometimes you just meet people and like you get along with them really well. And then, you know, you become friends very easily.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I felt like when we first met. And there was more to this story when it comes to that particular course, because a sickness or an illness began to break out in that group. Yeah. It was like, all of a sudden people were dropping like flies. They were like,
probably because of flies,
thrown up and they like, and people were having fevers and looking green in the classroom. Turns out like there was probably a vector of some kind. The composting toilet was too close to the kitchen or something like that. And I remember everybody just going back to their tents and just not even participating in the course anymore because that's how sick everybody got. On top of that, monsoons were coming in and like blowing out the campsite with these rains that were so torrential, like high desert rains that I've never experienced in my life, being sick as a dog, and everybody's tents getting muddied out with the sickness, and people just started to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember you stayed.
Yeah.
I stayed.
Yeah.
I think, well, Nicholas and Chris obviously stayed because we all drove together. But I remember how positive you were throughout the whole process. And a lot of people were like, you know, screw this place, you know, this is a horrible experience. I want my money back. Like this is, you know, but you like you took the higher ground, which I immediately was like, bro, like I need to be your friend. We need to be friends. Like, let's keep in touch. Let's stay connected. And we did. So several years later, we reconnected, and you came out to Burlingame, where I was living at the time. So the Bay Area.
Yeah. And
you had brought this positive energy back into my life. And it was just such a cool experience, man. I remember those early years, just like, man, like Bryan's like awesome. I'm stoked to be his buddy, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. There's several, I'm trying to catch all that. Like, it may have been easy to be friends with me because, bro, Diego, you're easy to be friends with too. Right. So that was, the feelings were mutual.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, Quail Springs, that experience was an experience. Right. And, like for me, I was just thankful to be there and do this thing with, actually at that time, and still, like, people like you, the folks there, they're so smart. They know, like, and I love the earth and what you guys know about, you know, water capturing, like the slicing of these riparian zones. I was like, what? That's so freaking cool. Like, so for me, it was just, I was just delighted to be there. So I think that's why it's easy for me to have this kind of curious, interested attitude. Like, because that's all new for me from being somebody that's, you know, like in Monterey Park, East LA, to be in this desert monsoon permaculture site. I'm just like, this is so cool. Let's play. Like, oh, everybody getting a little sick. Hey, why not? Everybody get sick. It's all good.
Yeah.
But,
That attitude just was infectious, man. No pun intended. Like it was like really, it was really, really something I wanted to be around more. So, you know, I invited you back out to hang out, man, like several years later. And a big reason why I wanted to take that course was because I was crafting up a regenerative agricultural and landscape and construction company. Like I was doing a lot of time and doing a lot of hours in the natural food store, working with farmers and doing direct to consumer business, where I was helping farmers and their businesses get access to the marketplace outside of their farmers market environments that they're so used to selling their produce in or their products. So, I think through that experience, I was like, I really want to start some sort of consultancy, some sort of like design build company. And so that particular topic resonated quite a bit because I felt like it was applicable to a lot of the work that I wanted to do with Circlefoot at the time. And you came out in the early years of that business to help out. And it was such a bootstrap thing, man. Cause I think we were running, jobs out of my sister's Ford Focus. We were putting rocks in the back trunk and throwing soil in the back seat,
moving rocks, bro.
And, and we had this little install in town, very modest front yard landscape. And, Nicholas was there, you were there, I was there. We were building this thing out. We were just so proud of how we were able to transform this, front yard and into something that was like so colorful and so beautiful and just really, made the owner super happy.
Yeah.
So that project was like, I think one of the first projects that we did.
Really?
That I was just like, okay, this is what I want to do for the foreseeable future. I want to regenerate and repair landscapes and homesteads. And, you were there, and it was like that energy. It was just like getting up in the morning every day. It was just so awesome to do that job.
Dude. Okay. During that time of my life, I was still studying environmental science at UCR, and obviously permaculture. I still do have this dream ideal of having a beautiful, diversified habitat that can be here for generations and generations on. Right? Like I still have that idealistic dream and heart in me. Right. And I remember exactly, you were building out a project, you were doing something, and you were gracious enough to allow me to come see how you work and participate in your work. And I remember couch surfing at your pad and then patting down the earth together. That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, and it was early in the game for me. The work was it. I just wanted to focus on doing the work, and getting the experience, instead of what a lot of folks that I saw in these workshops were doing, is just kind of taking in the knowledge from others who were doing and actually applying the work. And I knew at that point, I was like, okay, I can only take so much curriculum. I can only read so many books. I can only do so much, but in order for me to really learn, I need to actually apply and do it. Which was super scary because I was doing work, for others on their properties. And at some point I was like, well, I got to take the risk. I got to do this. And I had the fortunate experience, or opportunity to do that at my own place, which was that, apartment that I was living in. I was renting a 1-bedroom apartment from this really amazing, family, this Greek family, and they allowed me to, and they were inspired by the work that we were doing, and they allowed me to convert the front yard, to build out garden boxes and to grow produce for family, for essentially the 2 units plus the family in the front duplex, which was really, really cool. And it happened to be on the same block as the store.
Yeah.
So it was so fun to see people walking by and head into the store. And it was just such a amazing community. It really catapulted everything for Circlefoot. It was instrumental.
I'm so proud of, for real, even being over here. And so proud of being able to be a witness of your origin story, being a part of it, and then also allowing me to experience what a designed life looks like.
Yeah.
Because it's very different. Like what you were doing and living, it's very different than, my life in LA. So yeah. That was fun for me.
Which, so after your visit, you just put my head down and just kept working, kept building and building and building and building and building and building. And I can't recall, I think it was maybe a couple years before COVID, maybe like 2017, 2018, between 2017 and 2019, or maybe 2016 and 2019. You're like, I'm getting into real estate. You should get into real estate. And I'm like, real estate? Oh, that's really interesting. I just kept thinking I was kind of already in real estate because I was doing all of these projects for people on real estate, but not necessarily like on the real estate level with transactions and, representation and advisory and all that stuff. It just seemed like something that could, or was somewhat of a distraction for me, but I'm like, Bryan, yeah, that's real estate, like rooting you on, like awesome. How did you transition out of the environmental studies after your visit, and then how'd you get into real estate?
Happy, or when you look back, right? It's like, oh, that's why these turns happened in my life. If that makes any sense.
Totally.
It's like what, I don't know, misdirection, God's protection, or so, I don't know, something like that, right? But yeah, I went from environmental studies, knowing what my strengths and weaknesses are. That stuff is hard, complicated. You gotta be really smart to even have like a successful career in that field.
Yeah.
And I'm not that smart. So
they say it ain't easy being green, right? Like I think Kermit the Frog said that. It ain't easy being green. Like the whole environmental studies and career pathways are they're really difficult.
Yes.
For sure.
And I guess ultimately it didn't suit like my personality or my character. I mean, I love the idea of it. But actually me doing it was kind of at that time beyond my capabilities, actually. So interesting redirections and movements in life. Like I've always, however, not funnily enough, while in college, studying environmental science, I did have my real estate license.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I picked up my license in 2014 when with family's help and whatnot, we actually made an investment, purchased the home that I stayed in while I was going to school.
Oh,
and
so in that process, that's when you got your license.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Like our realtor, she's my mentor. She's my fairy godmother. I still work with her now.
Amazing.
I love her, Annie Wong. She helped me, or she helped our family purchase that property. And she was like, Bryan, you should get your real estate license. I was like, okay, sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
Right. And got my license, and actually inadvertently we were unconsciously playing the house hacking game without
really knowing.
Yeah, I did. Like that wasn't the, investment strategy or anything like that.
Yeah.
I just thought, oh, okay, there's an opportunity for us to find a property. And, if we can cover this, or like where I don't have to pay rent if housemates are renting rooms out and whatnot. So I got to stay there anyways.
Amazing.
So yeah, and we still have that property today. It's still being rented out to like actually a lot brighter, a lot more responsible college students. And it's served our family really well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So your real estate license, did that propel you further down the real estate path, or like you jump out of school? Did you just dive right in? Like,
No.
So there was a redirect again?
Oh yeah, bro. Yeah. Life's funny. Oh, this is interesting having this reflection. And I'm thankful to you for, kind of going back here.
Yeah.
So I had the license. I completely took it for granted. Working with Annie, right? Like basically, I'm thankful for the immense hand holding. But I was basically given fish, and I didn't learn to fish at that time in my life when it comes to real estate, the transaction process, the like everything from start to finish, not just contracts, but with negotiations, with taking care of your clients. Like, what is the real meaning behind, and like the purpose of real estate. Kind of thing. So to answer your question, no, getting my license didn't propel me into being a top agent or whatever.
Got you.
Actually, dude, after graduating from UCR, I went and helped my folks' business. And they've been in the community for a really long time. They run like traditional Chinese medicine shops, like apothecary. Exactly.
Wow.
And so another full circle moment, watching you at your natural food store.
Yeah.
That was like another inspiration thing for me of how we would transform, our family business. Because our family business is very traditional, like actually I think it still is. But watching how you're or the market you're at, how that was run, I was like, oh dude, it would be cool if I can bring TCM into kind of like an environment like that. Yeah. Still work in progress. Need to hire someone for that. But anyways, yeah, like, cause it's a whole other language. There's a whole other culture and world, but that was another inspiring piece I got from being with you in those origin times.
Well, the feeling is absolutely mutual, because when I learned that your parents were running an apothecary and it was a family ran business, I was like, we're friends for a reason here, because the family that was running the natural food store had been there for 45, nearly 50 years in that building since like 1971. And Katie's dad, I was telling you this when you landed, Katie's dad, along with David and a couple others, had started that business early on in the 70s, before there was Whole Foods, before there was Trader Joe's, before there was, anything really on the peninsula, really anything in the state of California. This was like literally right after like Earth Day. They started this natural food store called Earth Beam. And it was like home away from home. And so when you told me about your family's apothecary, and how long they've been there, and how health and wellness is like central to that business, it was just like, well, of course we're friends. Of course we're going to be buddies, because we have similar interests. So you were gaining, inspiration from me. I was gaining inspiration from you. I just kept going on and building Circlefoot over the years. You got into real estate, and then sounded like you kind of jumped out. And then when did you jump back in?
So I jumped back into real estate full time, actually 2020.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, cause of pandemic.
Yeah.
So to link the whole Chinese medicine apothecary store idea, like, dude, I was still freaking trying to find myself or figure out what the heck I'm doing. Actually, I've not been graced with as much consistency, discipline, and vision as you. I was just figuring stuff out.
Cool. Yeah.
During that figuring stuff out part, I did not really figure it out, and I actually went to like acupuncture and Chinese medicine school, because I didn't know what the heck else to do.
Yeah.
Actually, and Yeah, that was a great choice because that's super easy. No, it was not super easy. It was freaking hard, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I went there to get my graduate degree in TCM and acupuncture
Okay.
because I thought, oh, you know, folks got apothecaries, might be a natural transition for me
Sure.
to be the physician in there or
Yeah.
something like that.
Sure.
Right? Dog, that was
Not the case.
hard.
Which is so interesting to hear, bro, because you picked real estate, which is really hard for a lot of people. You know, like you think about how many agents there are in the United States and how many have not done a deal. And I think NAR came out with some really interesting data last year where over 70% of people who are licensed in the United States did not do a deal last year. And I wonder why. You know, is it because of market conditions? Is it because it's quote unquote hard? Yeah, I think any way you skin that cat, if you're in the real estate game, you have to be consistent. You have to stay on track because as soon as you jump off the rails, really hard to get back in, you know, because it's just, it takes time for you to do a deal. So you're like jumping back into real estate during a global pandemic. Like what happened there? Like what inspired you to get back in?
So the person that inspired me to get back in is Clarence Young.
Oh, cool.
So it's just funny, all these weird serendipitous stuff, right? So like I just graduated and from TCM acupuncture and like pandemic hits, I can't practice in clinics.
Oh, right. Shut everything down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, awesome. Perfect timing, which I guess it really was perfect timing.
Yeah.
Cause dude, I saw a Facebook post from Clarence and he's like, yo, I just moved to a new brokerage. I switched to eXp Realty. Anybody want to join me? And I could probably look up that Facebook message chain. I'm just like, yo, Clarence, tell me more. And because I still had my license. It wasn't hung up anywhere. I wasn't doing any real estate activities. And then I was like, yeah, sure. Let's do something with this. And bro, it's kind of a magical growth journey since then. And what I've learned is it wasn't just like real estate transaction business side. I'm very fortunate. It was like the personal, emotional growth in relationships.
Interesting.
Actually, real estate is about relationships. And that's
absolutely,
that's where all that like personal development came about too. As of all the brilliant people I got to meet, work with, learn from. And dude, real estate touches everything.
It does.
So that's why it's so fun. It's so diverse. Like it's like, there's fun stuff all around the corner and you be so creative about it too, which is something I very much learned from you.
A whole nother layer. So I remember the call we like connected again. And then you were telling me about EXP and how it's like this cloud-based brokerage.
Yeah.
And here are these amazing reasons why you should join. It was like almost like a recruiting call. It was more like, you know, how are you doing? What are you doing? It's like, oh, I got all this happening. Oh, that's dope. I've got all this happening. I'm like, oh, that's dope. Like, tell me more. And then you would tell me about this brokerage called EXP and how it's cloud-based and like there isn't per se an office that you go to like a Coldwell Banker or a Keller Williams or something, but you know, you can go online and you can meet people and you can, you know, build relationships and you can do deals. And I was like, you know, that's really interesting. And at that time I was on my way out of a home that I was trying to buy, like a rent to own situation. Like I was running a business out of the house like I had normally done for years. And I like built a wonderful relationship with the landowner. And I was just giving him as much value as possible. Like, let me repair that. Let me take care of this. And like, how about you sell it? What do you think about rent to own? Like, I didn't know it was like a lease option. I didn't know what that was. I just thought it was like, I don't want to go to a bank because interest rates are so high and a down payment would be so big. And like, it just affordability kept coming like up for me. And, running your own business, you're self-employed. So you're not extremely bankable either in many ways. So like, I was just like really eager to get into the rent to own. And this is really something that like, this is kind of interesting because you said it, like the door closed, and that door was, a metaphor for what was actually happening in that home. And it was mold. We began to see all of this mold come in through the drywall, and it was bad, like to the point where our health was being impacted.
Whoa.
And, Benny was, when we were in that house, Benny was probably, 8 to 11 years old. Like he was on on the tail end out of elementary school. And, I was just like, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. Wow. So when you were talking real estate, I was kind of on my way out trying to buy real estate. And I'm like, and the business was doing well. But I felt like there was something else that I wanted to do that was like up at I'm doing all these projects as a contractor. And I'm seeing all these people do deals, hiring contractors. Like, I kind of want to do that. Like, so I started exploring that with your help, which, I think at the time with COVID happening and like our history as friends, and we just, I think, began to connect more and more because of real estate and our growing love for it. And then we decided at some point, like, dude, we should just let's do real estate together. Yeah. And I was like, cool, I'm in. Yeah. And so I went and got my license with your help, jumped on eXp Realty, and I was like, bro, I'm all in on this real estate. At that moment, moved out. Like I was doing all this stuff, dude. Like I was doing all this stuff with this house. And I was like,
that was still happening at that time.
Yeah. And okay. I'm like, I want to study. I want to get this. Like I'm running the business. Like there's this, it's the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us were going through transition. Yeah. Like a lot of us were like questioning everything. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Should I live here? Should I move? Yeah. Should I start a new business? Should I Like, it was just like, everybody was like, push the reset button. It was really interesting. So I was pushing the reset button on that house as much as I wanted to buy it because I had such a great relationship with the owner. I was like, we're so tight. Like, and he owned it outright. Dude. So I was like, rent to own. These rent payments, like just, I'll pay you over time, and at the time it didn't really work out for many different reasons. At that time though, I had a client who I was introduced to by one of my really good buds, Stephen Molliff, who's also a contractor. And this client had hired his company to do some work on a 20-unit complex that he owns in town. And at that moment, he was like, hey, this guy, he could really use your help. Like, how about I introduce you? Because he's shopping for some more support on the property. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I meet him, end up hitting it off with Bob. Like,
oh, this is Bob.
Off with Bob. And so Bob and I worked together and then ended up becoming friends. And during that project, he was like, hey, like wife and I were retiring, we're moving out of state. Like kids are, in college, they're out. Nobody wants this place that like our homestead. You want to come and take a look and maybe rent it. And I'm like, please, because I'm living in a spore infested, moldy house. Yeah. Like I need to get out of there. So got Katie and Benny in the car and we came up here and took a walk through and a tour. And we all were like, and that's this pad that we're in right now. Bro. It was like magic, dude. Bro. And as soon as we finished the tour, we're like, cool, like we're good. Like we came to terms on a monthly, rent. Like, all right, cool. Like in my mind, I'm like, I want to, this is it. Like he's moving out. Like I want to buy this spot.
Oh, wow.
Without even talking to him about it. But on the tail end of negotiations for just the lease, I was like, well, because I was just like rent to own in my mind, Yeah. It's like, Bob, what about selling it? He goes, you want to buy this place? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, really? He was so surprised that I wanted to buy this place. And he was like, okay, well, let's talk about it. So then we started talking about it. While all of that was happening, I was diving deeper into real estate. And that's where I found creative finance. And that's where I found Pace Morby. Mm-hmm. And that's where I found his community. Mm-hmm. And all of the other creative financing strategies that are out there within the real estate space as I was getting my license. So it was like so serendipitous, all these things happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Where I was not only able to like learn, but apply, learn and apply. So we locked in a lease option for this property. And it was just like so magical, and moved into the eXp Realty with you. And we're like, okay, like this creative real estate, like this is like, we can buy all of this real estate. Yeah. We can do this together. Yeah. We can help people who come to us that are looking to buy and sell their properties, but then we can buy and sell our own properties. Yeah. Which was freaking crazy, man. What a crazy time.
Yeah. Like, dude, actually this is fun, kind of reflecting on our real estate journey together. Because you really came, like you came in kind of when I was just starting to go full-time real estate again too. Yeah. And so I want to thank you for, like, because of you, your business maturity and like creativity actually allowed me to learn to be a more a more dimensional kind of, not just agent, but problem solver and way to look at things too. Yeah. Like, okay, kind of two things. There's a lot to touch on. Like, kind of neat that like we, and I'm sure population as a whole, they experience some sort of like reset moment. And like, they decide, what are they going to do about this? You know, for example, like I could have like continue on seeing what the acupuncturist path would have been. And like looking back, oh my God, to bless healthcare professionals, because that's totally heavy and not easy. Yeah. And fortunately had the protection and redirection of hitting that reset to explore, you know, how to solve real estate, you know, puzzles. Right. And I think you mentioned, how is it easy, or how it may look easy or something like that. It's like, dude, when you're dealing with folks that are going to acupuncture as last resort to like, oh, how do I take care of, like, I can't see out of here, and this like is numbing over there, and and no, I don't want to change my lifestyle, but you make it better now. Yeah. Or when I have to have like that kind of bedside manner, and then on the flip side of real estate, I'm like, oh, you don't like that wall? All right, cool. Let's just blow it out. It's all good. Oh, that paint's not good? Cool. Let's just repaint it. Like, oh, the carpets are icky? Cool. I love it. Everything else good? All right, let's make it happen. Yeah. You know, it's so much more. So for me, when I come from that lens, like real estate is fun. I get to look at it kind of holistically, have bedside manner, you know, do my best in taking into all considerations as far as where and why and the feelings of, you know, my clients. And then like finding positive outcomes and not forcing outcomes either, and also empowering my clients. And I think that has proved to be not just successful, but fun and more my nature. So I guess that's how I experience my business. And then, yeah, dude, Diego, like you got in, like, that's why I love you, dude. Like you leveled up my like my professional expectation and the way to carry myself as, you know, a businessman, a CEO, a leader, etc. Right. And yeah, you diving into creative like financing, creative solutions for real estate isn't something that I would say actually there's not a lot of real estate agents that well, that's a generalization, right? But there are agents that do not dive into this kind of complexity and creative solutions for clients, you know, because there's a very cut and dry way of doing real estate, right? Like there's a very simple way, and it's great when it's that simple, but sometimes we have to come up with like neat, interesting, not thought of win-win-win solutions for the person selling and the person acquiring, right? And we have examples of that with some of the acquisitions and relationships in our portfolio. Yeah. And like maybe that could be another podcast or something we come back to. Sure. Of telling the story of each one of those transactions, because there's a lot to learn from, because they're not cut and dry. They're not simple.
Not at all. And you know, I think the reason why I was so attracted to creative financing and creative real estate was not only, you know, structuring, you know, a deal for my own home, but too. Like wanting to, like once I learned the kind of the mechanics and the structures, then it was like, I want to share this with everybody, you know, like this needs to be taught. This needs to be shared on such a level where, you know, when people look at affordability, they're like, oh, that puzzle can get solved through creative finance. Yeah. And when I came across the Sub 2 community, it was, of course, serendipitous in many ways, but just another testament of the universe saying, like, you're on the right track, you're doing the right thing. Because even Pace himself and I share a lot of commonalities, like born in the same year. He was a contractor for many, many years and then got into real estate. And, you know, the vibe, you know, attracts your tribe. And I really am super grateful and fortunate to have stuck with that path throughout the pandemic, because things were up in the air quite a bit. Like I was contemplating selling Circle Foot. I was contemplating of leaving the country. I was contemplating so much. I was on the tail end of a relationship, you know? So like a breakup and all the things, it was just so much in the air, but I was like, you know, real estate, it just resonated so much with me because it just was like another level of professionalism for me. Like I've always operated and have wanted to come across as a pro, like professional, communicative, like high, like I want to have high standards, high integrity. Good isn't good enough. It needs to be great. And to do that in the construction industry is actually really easy because the bar is freaking really low, and not a lot of people have that kind of fiduciary mindset that you would see in real estate within the construction industry, because it's, you know, it's hyper extractive. It's very masculine. You know, it's very linear, like, you know, destroy, build. And like, there wasn't any permaculture or wellness or holistic, mindset or approach to development. But I knew that real estate was the next level, like contractor real estate was the next level for me. So that's where I was like, I want to take all of my desires, passions, you know, love for being an entrepreneur, being a professional, and apply it to the real estate space. So when we got to digging in and you started to ramp up your business, it like fired me up, man. I was like watching you win, and I was like, I need to win like Bryan, and I need to win like today, because it just, all the relationships where you're telling me about, all this fun that you were telling me you're having, all the stuff that you were learning. It was just so like palpable for me, like having these conversations on the phone with you. Like I remember we were chatting up for like 2-3 hours on the phone, just talking real estate. And that's when I was like, okay, well, cool. We got the house locked up. That's done. Getting the business, got the license. Cool. What's next? And then we're like, let's buy some, let's buy some stuff.
Yeah.
Let's apply this to our own portfolio.
Yeah.
And you were like, I'm down. So we ended up starting a business together, an investment company. And that's when I think that little fire grew into a very big fire for the both of us. Like it really lit the both of us up in a way where we're like, let's find as many deals as possible or as many opportunities as possible. Let's talk to as many people as possible and see what sort of stuff comes about. And so I got to work. I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to talk to as many people in this community. It's nationwide. Like where's the best place to deploy our capital? How can we get into this, portfolio build out, sooner than later without having to dump tremendous amounts of capital, which was, I think at the time when we're building, it was kind of like, okay, like we have an X amount that we can deploy, like, and we want to do an X amount. How do we do that in a way where we don't over leverage or get over our skis? And I think that's when the creative layer came in.
The creative layer and the creative opportunities and like relationships and deals that you brought together made it a whole lot, for me, a whole lot easier to say yes. And also the fact that I get the opportunity to work with you and be partners in growing this thing together. I was like, oh yeah, let's do it. Like easy peasy.
Yeah.
Cause traditional real estate, traditional investing, if it's feasible and whatnot, awesome. You go like conventional investing, financing, that's great. But like the seller finance deals you were putting together, it's like even chiller as far as entry capital to get in there, because of the structure of the financing and how we take over the financing, wasn't really like hitting our personal credit or like our personal finances. I was like, oh, okay. You just need funds? Cool. I'll just make more money. Let's go. Let's get it done.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we scaled into a 7-figure company in under a year. And I remember getting that last deal that got us over the 7 figures. And we were like, holy fuck. Like, is this for real? Like, and we did everything by the book, man. Like we worked with the right folks with integrity, had the right contracts in place, worked with the right sellers. It just started to compound. We learned a lot along the way. As everybody should, when they apply, you're going to get feedback, use that feedback in the loop and then reapply and then keep going. So when we got over that mark, I was just like, the fact that we were able to get this far with such little capital and solve all of these problems and help all these people. It was just, that moment was like, okay, this is it. Like, it's cool. This is all I want to do.
Yeah.
And this business that I have is the money building machine that allows me to take that fund and put it into our holding co. So the two have been just like such a blast to build, because I get to work with amazing people that I get to call friends, that I get to learn from on a daily basis, that are, aligned with the same goals. Yeah. So like when we got to that level, I was like, what should we do next? And I was like, commercial is where I'd like to go. And a big reason why I wanted to go into commercial is because of Daniela.
I love Daniela.
Daniela,
she's so divine.
She's so dope.
She's badass.
She's such a badass, and her transaction coordination support that she helped
But part of
our portfolio.
Deals. Yeah.
It was like cool. And then lightweight, like recruiting her to EXP because she was like, I want to get my license. There's more for me. And I'm like, cool. Like I didn't want to push too hard, but I was like, hey, Bryan and I are at EXP. Like you should jump on board. It would be like, be really nice. And so of course she did her due diligence and was like, checking with other brokers and da-da-da-da. And then she jumps on. Yeah. And I was like, oh, cool. You're jumping on to EXP Realty. She goes, no, I'm going into EXP Commercial. And I was like, what? EXP Commercial? Tell me more.
It was like actually really interesting, perfect timing because that division just like EXP just did that. Yeah. Yeah. And now like I just came from a EXP rally in Sacramento yesterday. Yep. And dude, the commercial side, they're making leaps and bounds.
They're hitting it hard, dude.
Like just the tools that they're offering to the commercial side, like CoStar, et cetera.
Yeah.
It's gangster,
dude. Yeah. So she inspired me to leave realty and go into commercial, even though I was doing a lot of home improvement projects and home improvement work with Circlefoot. I felt like with all the creative financing, my love for business and entrepreneurship, my yearning of wanting to work with sophisticated buyers and sellers. Yeah. I was like, all right, I'm going to jump on to EXP Commercial, even though I don't have many connections in the commercial space other than Daniela. And then once I jumped in, began to make connections. Yeah. Began to talk to people and learn more about the commercial side of things. And now you've got this realty side. I've got this commercial side, and I feel like we can do pretty much anything now, dude. Yeah. Anything, which is so fun, bro, because my ultimate goal, and we've talked about this before, is like, cool, we'll do all these deals, but then the long term, why don't we take all of these deals and roll them into triple net lease commercial assets that pay us a net number where we don't have to worry about taxes or insurance or renovation costs or anything like that. Yeah. So like the progression of all of this and how it's evolved over the course of freaking, I don't know, 15, 16 years. Yeah. Is such a dope story. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like all these serendipitous stars aligning and all of us working together is actually it's kind of like, it's cool, dude. You guys allowed me to level up my business and outlook in life and wealth together. And it just made me think of like, we were doing the green buildings and now it's red building time. Now it's, and it's so funny that, like I said, timeless, somewhat simple, but not simple game Monopoly does kind of reflect in real life as far as like U.S. real estate goes. Yeah. Yeah. Which we should talk about, at some point, because I had Jonathan on the show, who's an architectural partner of ours, who's from Costa Rica. Okay. And he was telling me about all of this amazing opportunity in Costa Rica, developing land and building some really nice stuff for like really like very low. I'm down for opportunity zones. Yeah. Yeah. Me too. It's a big, beautiful world. Me too. So I want to touch up on, because that actually kind of reminded me about your trip up here to NorCal, because you're based in SoCal. Yeah. The SoCal group, EXP Realty, amazing team down there. You came up to SAC. And you're so humble. You didn't tell me exactly why. You said there's a rally, and I'm like, cool. And then I'm on Instagram, and I see this dude picking up an icon banner, and everybody clapping like, congratulations, Bryan. And I'm like, yo, you've got icon status at EXP. Yeah. That is freaking awesome, dude. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I'm thankful for my mentors and coaches that set
big goals for me and my team that support me for me to achieve this. It's been like and it's cool. It's been a running thing I've been wanting to do, but this year, especially this year, after having chats with John Tsai, Jack Tsai, Clarence, Jimmy, like, you know, the folks that inspire me in the office are like, dude, you're supposed to get this. Daniel Fold. And then also, like after you introduced me to Dan Martell from the fitness program, and then joining his like business coaching program, learning about executive assistants, and then being challenged by John like on a panel. I was like, oh yeah, let's think about getting an assistant. And I was like, all right, get in a week. And then I got it the same day. And then with Christina Wu, shout out Wu, like coming into my life, like just allow me to operate at an icon level in my imagination. And actually that's why I came up, was also to accept that, like, that award.
How important is it for you to be around that team and that group growing your business?
It's the only reason why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Or not the only reason why, but a huge reason why. Because like, it's fun.
Yeah. The boats rise with the tide, right?
Yeah.
So like you've got these amazing high level entrepreneurs and you're around them every day. It's, you know, at some point you're going to rise with them, right?
Yeah. It's like, it's personally, you're like, I want to be able to contribute like that too. And if not more, it's like they've given so much to me. How do I return that multifold? Right. And, it's
impressive because, talk a little bit about what it takes to be an icon.
Oh, okay.
In EXP.
Okay.
Because not everybody gets this.
Okay.
And considering how difficult it is in today's markets, you know, that's impressive because you have to have an X amount of transactions, generate an X amount of commissions in a time where there is a tremendous amount more sellers there are buyers in the pool. Like there's just big gap. There's a lot of sellers that are just holding on for dear life. And there's a lot of buyers on the sidelines because they don't want to, you know, pull out a loan at 7% and put down, you know, 20% on a down payment or whatever it is. Talk a little bit about what it means to be icon and what it takes.
Okay. So, like icon, can definitely go online and get all the super specifics on it and whatnot. But, icon is, after you cap with EXP, and it's different when, I don't want to get too into the weeds, but there's different for like solo agents and team based. Actually, icon, you can only qualify for it when you're a solo agent.
Gotcha.
So in SoCal Group, technically I'm a solo agent, but I work with a team.
But you're a team,
so it's fun. I get the best of all worlds, right? So there is a solo agent cap of $16,000. What that means is, after the brokerage gets their $16,000 split, because everybody across the board, at least as of today, is like an 80-20 split with EXP, right? You know, the reason why I love them. It's like so chill, straightforward. Like, you know, there's no, like, it's very transparent in that.
So it's 80-20 until you get to 16 and then it's 100.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Well, you get the 100 and that's when you cap.
Gotcha.
Right.
And 16K in California is probably like one deal.
Yeah. Well, depending on your market, right? But it essentially equates to, it's not 16K of your commission. It's 16K commission that goes to EXP.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Working out the math, it's about $80,000 in gross commission income. So you hit 80K in GCI.
So EXP's, that's probably maybe a couple of deals in LA.
Yeah, in LA is like probably 3,
okay,
or 1.
Yeah,
you know,
depending on what you do.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, you cap, and then there's 2 ways to hit icon after you cap. It's the simplest. Well, I wouldn't call it simplest. Most straightforward way. Do 500K in GCI. Yeah, you can just do the $500,000, and then that's also icon status.
But you have to, I think it was like a minimum of 10 transactions.
Yeah.
Right? Like 500K. You couldn't do 500K in one deal. Like, I think it was like a minimum of 10 deals. with a gross of 500K. I think it was something like that. Because I looked into Icon. John got Icon with the PDF group on the commercial side.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, this is dope. Like, I want to look into being an Icon.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
that's,
get it.
yeah.
You can do it.
It's, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So the 500K GCI, that Icon status, I don't really know that path because that wasn't the path I took. I did the cap status.
Okay.
And then 5,000 or 5K in like transaction cap. So every transaction max is like $250 per transaction afterwards, if you're doing it all solo. And so that 250 times 20 is that $5,000 transaction cap.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's basically you cap for the 80-20 16K, and then you do another 20 transactions.
Amazing.
And that gives you Icon status.
And they give you
that easy.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's incredible. I mean, considering how hard it is today to do, transactions of that volume, what would you say to like some of the growing and kind of new agents that jump on the team in the office? Like what do you tell them, or how do you coach them today in today's market?
Ooh, that's a longer coaching session for sure. I think
just some high end, like high level bullet points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Real simply is like, don't be a secret agent. Like, like you do have to embody and live and carry yourself and be a professional realtor. You be that, and folks will see that, and then you'll do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, that was pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. If anything, don't be a secret agent. Like, don't be shy about it. Embrace the identity so that you can do the work.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, we're getting kind of close to the end of the show. I like to end with some rapid fire questions.
Okay. Dude, okay.
Yeah.
I want more.
I know. So, end of the show, I like to do rapid fire questions where these questions are just really simple questions, simple answers, and then we move on to the next one. So if you feel compelled to, talk more about it, then that's totally fine. We're not on like a time constraint or anything like that, but lightning round.
Okay, let's play.
Best deal we've done together.
Best deal we've done together. Oh, do the first one.
Cool summer.
That was a cool one.
That was a sub 2 deal that was brought to us by Mel. No, it was a wholesaler that Mel Palmer, who's going to be on the show, helped us with. And just the seller, the transaction, like that was very, believe it or not, smooth for a creative file. That one was, I agree. That one was a good one.
That was a cool one. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like it tickled the possibility for us. And we're like, oh yeah, let's do it again. We're like, oh snap, we're doing like, and then the other was like, oh wow, it's like this. But at least that gave us confidence that, oh, now we can do this. Let's do it again.
Yeah. Proof of concept. That was a proof of concept.
Yeah.
Yeah. Biggest lesson you've learned from a deal gone wrong?
Okay. Ooh. Okay.
It could be in the portfolio. It can be on the broker side.
Broker side.
Either one.
I think I would have. Okay. I think on broker side would be, dude, don't be attached to things. Like, don't be attached to particular outcomes, etc. And to always, because it's not about you. It's about your client. Right? Do the fiduciary duty. Like, do everything you can to protect and empower. Yeah.
Cool. One piece of advice you'd give your 22-year-old self.
One? Just one?
Top of mind.
Like, bro, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can be more consistent and have better habits and like, don't neglect your sleep, because that's wow, you get sleep, but that's more than one. So yeah.
Okay, cool. What's your favorite piece of real estate content that you're consuming right now?
Favorite piece of real estate content?
Could be from a coach. It could be from a mentor. It could be online, social, industry, EXP. It could be anything.
I guess outside of John Sai's fun reels and obviously the education I get from there, like I like Sharon from Reel. Like he has great content as well. Who else? I don't know. Dan doesn't really touch on real estate, but like Pace Morby, and also, bro, what you're doing.
Awesome, bro. Okay, how about book or podcast that has changed the way you think? Mindset.
It doesn't even have to be recently, right? Like,
It could be anything.
I mean, dude, Buy Back Your Time was a big one.
That was a big one.
Yeah,
for me too. Yeah,
that one gave me a glimpse of what pro looks like.
Totally. In that book, he said, Dan Martell said, and this one I know resonates with you too. If you don't get an assistant,
you are
one.
You are, yeah.
And I was like, wow, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
That replacement ladder, that first rung.
Yeah.
Administration.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's because of like Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time, how you introduced it to me, led to, the nutrition health with Alan Dick, and then also into Dan's like elite business coaching.
Yeah.
And just being amongst all these like top level killers that are super like good killers. Does that make any sense?
Good, yeah.
And then also seeing the evolution of, your business, how you're going pro, like what you got going on over here. And, also my changes in my life and business. So that was a longer answer, but yeah.
Cool, man. Well, this has been awesome. Thanks again for being on the show today. This has been fun going down memory lane. Cool, everybody. That's another episode of the Wealth and Wellness Report. Talked a lot about life and business and partnership today. If what you saw today really resonates, be sure to hit the subscribe button below. Love to hear your comments, and we'll see you on the next one.